Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Viking Insider Live. This is actually our 14th episode tonight. Definitely want to thank everyone that continues to tune in and either view these live on Twitter, on Periscope, and also on our YouTube channel that you can actually go to howlvikingstv.com. You can subscribe there, and you can also view all of our past episodes. They're all archived there as well. So definitely excited to give everyone kind of a behind-the-scenes look at our programs. We've had a lot of opportunities to talk to current student athletes, coaches, parents, some opportunities to talk to alumni as well. So we're very excited to have a couple alumni on tonight to talk about Howell and talk about what they're doing. So we'll kind of get things started tonight, and we'll go through. And tonight we have Kyle, Emily, and Lexi, and we'll just kind of go through. Kyle, if you want to introduce yourself a little bit and kind of maybe let everybody know what year you graduated, what you were involved in when you were at Howell, and then we can kind of go through everybody.
Yeah, absolutely. So, Sean, thanks for having. I'm excited. This is fun. I graduated from Howell in 2006. From my time there, I was mainly baseball. Played baseball 4 years through there with Coach Perkins. We had a really competitive team there, and it was awesome. So currently I'm working with the St. Louis Blues. This is my 7th season, and my current title is Senior Manager of Ticket Sales.
Awesome.
All right. I'll go since I'm in the little square there. I'm Lexi. I graduated in 2016. I was part of the softball team for 4 years. And then I also managed the basketball team for 4 years, which was super fun. And I just graduated from Maryville. And I am actually not currently still in sports. I'm working for a different company now, but I was working for Learfield doing some corporate sponsorship stuff.
I'm Emily. I graduated in 2016 with Lexi. At Howell, I danced for 4 years, and I also got to work in the activities office with Erwin and Miss Kearns, which was always a lot of fun. I just graduated in May from Mizzou with a BS in Parks, Rec, and Sport with an emphasis in sport. Currently looking for jobs and possibly looking into going back and getting my master's.
Awesome. Well, one of the next questions I was going to ask is, what are you doing now? I think all of you kind of touched on that a little bit. I know one of the things that's awesome about Howell is I think that even after our student athletes and student participants leave, I think all of our parents, our fans, everybody is always interested to kind of see what our alumni are doing and what they're accomplishing. So it's always exciting anytime we can have our alumni on or highlight different things that are going on. Because it's just cool to see how our Howell family comes together and really just follows everyone, even after they're gone from Howell. But one of the things I did want to talk about tonight is, all of you were highly involved when you were at Howell. And I think, when you're at Howell and you're involved in your activity or your sport, I think, you don't realize some of the things that you're getting from being involved in that sport or that activity. Kind of talk a little bit about maybe some things that you took away from being involved in the different activities and sports at Howell that you think has kind of helped better prepare you for life after high school and what each of you are doing now. Lexi, we can go ahead and start with you.
Sure. Some of the best things about Howell have honestly been like just building the connections with teachers and coaches, and I'm still friends with like all of my teammates. 3 of them are actually going to be in my wedding. So it was a great community to be in. And I know that I can always go back to those coaches if I'm interested in, I still coach softball. So if I'm interested in like giving lessons somewhere, or if I know that there's an athlete that needs help at Howell, I can, reach out and give back to the game and all of that. So it kind of was my first look into what true networking is before I went to college. And I was learning it without even knowing it.
Awesome. Emily?
Yeah, I agree with Lexi. I definitely still am like very close friends with a lot of girls on my team, and the same like with teachers and coaches through like social media, and especially with Erwin and Miss Kearns. I went back after graduating and worked summers and when I was home for break, and just really that community feel that Erwin talks about. And I also got to learn a lot about working in an athletic office, which like kind of made me want to work in this field even more. And so I got an inside look and hands-on experience in high school before I went to college and then throughout college. So definitely learned a lot, and always was good to keep in touch with everyone that we were always friends with and met through high school.
I think one thing that you touched on was learning something, not even realizing that you're learning it at the time. So for baseball practice every day, Coach Perkins would have the itinerary for practice posted every day. From this time we're doing this, from this time. And I think about that now whenever I'm running a meeting or an interview, I'm having the piece of paper there, and it's all pretty well organized what I want the day to kind of look like. I think the other thing too you take for granted, especially when you're in high school, is time management, balancing being a student, balancing playing a sport, activity, working, whatever it may be. That obviously comes into, the real world and working, managing, your personal life, going to the gym, staying in good health, all those kind of things, but also just your normal job. You're going to have a lot of things thrown at you throughout the day, and keeping that organized.
Yeah, that's the one thing that, I really try to stress with students when they come in as freshmen is, I really do feel if you're involved in an activity or sport at the high school level, you are going to be more successful later on in life than those that aren't involved. And I think it 100% comes back to, a lot of the things that you guys talked about. Just the biggest piece is time management. I think you learn a lot there. You learn about creating a routine for yourself so that you can get things done and get things accomplished. So, I think being involved and doing those things as you're going through high school, I think really helps prepare you to be successful in college and whatever you plan to do beyond that. The other thing I want to talk to you guys about too is I think as you're going through high school, I think there's usually somebody that usually has a positive effect on you or somebody that kind of motivates you. I know for me going through high school, I had zero idea what I wanted to do, but I had one teacher that was also a coach that kind of motivated me. And I was kind of like, hey, I want to be that guy. I want to go into education. I want to coach. So who is somebody at Howell that maybe influenced you a little bit or motivated you and helped to get you to where you are today? Or maybe what, just kind of similar situation as me was somebody that you looked at and was like, hey, I want to do what that person does. So Emily, we can start with you.
I would say for me, it was probably you and Miss Kearns. You guys were always the first people in the building and the last ones to leave normally. And so I always just looked up to your guys' work ethic and how much work you put into it. It really did show through, all the activities and games and stuff that you guys put on. It made me want to work harder, within our team, because you guys put so much effort into us and into our team. So just seeing how hard you guys work and how much you love your jobs definitely made me want to work harder and, go into this field.
Awesome. Thank you. That definitely means a lot for sure. Kyle?
Yeah, so I mean, the easy answer for me is going to be any of the baseball coaches I had, but I think too, especially would be Coach Perkins and Coach Sissel. Were extremely helpful, just, guiding through being in high school, playing baseball, doing all those things. But they're also helpful afterwards when I got into college and had injuries and trying to figure out what was next. And that played a huge role. But I think going from a non, sports side of it, Mr. Henley was, probably my favorite teacher I had while I was there. And I had him 2 years in a row. Then I was a student aide my senior year. But, just seeing how, he'd always come in with a positive attitude every day. Everyone wanted to be around him. Everyone wanted to be in his classes, something that, in my role now, leading a sales team is just, come in with a lot of energy, positivity, and people feed off that.
Yeah, I think that all of the softball coaches were really great. Coach Sissel and Coach Beckman and even Mormon I've had a lot of softball coaches at Howell, but even Mormon when I was a freshman. And then my freshman coach, Sue Herwick, she's a teacher at Howell North, but she and I still coached together over the summers. Building that connection with her was so huge. And all of them have been people that I can call or talk to if I'm having a bad day. It doesn't have to be about softball. And I just really cherish all of those connections. And I almost feel kind of sad for other people who don't have the relationships with some of their people from high school, their teachers or coaches, because they made such a big impact on my life.
Yeah, I think, when you definitely look back at, some of your best memories, which we'll talk about those a little bit. When you look back from some of your best memories from high school, I think a lot of times they end up being involved in your sport or your activity, or being at a sporting event or some type of activity that's going on campus. So, I think being attached and being involved at the high school level is just so important, for sure, just for the high school experience and getting the most out of it. So yeah, but one of the things I wanted to talk about also tonight is what kind of gave me the idea of getting the three of you on is that at some point in time, or currently, all of you have kind of been involved in the sports industry or sports management, and some of those things. So I wanted to talk to you a little bit about that. What got you interested in the sports industry, and just how are things going for you now? Well, Kyle, we'll actually start with you. You probably have some pretty cool experiences from last year. You can probably touch base, talk about a little bit.
Yeah. So I played baseball through high school. Got a scholarship to play at St. Charles Community College. Freshman year there, tore my knee up, tore my shoulder up. So that was kind of the end of competitive baseball. And my plan was kind of play with baseball as long as I could, and then see what happened from there. Then ended up transferring to Mizzou, played club baseball there. Had no idea what I wanted to do, I got a degree in communication. It was so broad, but didn't really know exactly what I wanted to do. Always have loved sports, wanting, whether I knew I wanted to do something in sports, but I had no idea what that meant. I'm a lot older than, the other two here. So I think, sports management degrees or things like that weren't something that was really around yet. It was kind of a new, field, if you will. So when I started getting ready to graduate from Mizzou, I started just applying everywhere online for any sports team, any opening I could see, and kind of just really kind of going into it blind. But I got to, kind of learn more that, sales was a way to kind of get your foot in the door and kind of learn, the ways of working in a front office. So when I graduated, I ended up applying everywhere, but I ended up getting an internship with the Tampa Bay Rays in their sales and service department. So really knew nothing about it. I'd been in Tampa once in my life, but then interviewed twice over the phone. The next thing I knew, a week later, I was moving to Tampa for the 2011 baseball season, which graduating out of college, there's a lot worse places to live than Florida. It worked out all right. So, but it was awesome. It gave me a full exposure to what working in a front office would be like, and that sales and service was something that I felt comfortable in, something I was passionate about, something I thought I could do for a career. So everyone with the Rays was awesome. People with the Rays knew people with the Cardinals. So going back to what we mentioned before, networking, making connections, people with the Rays knew people with the Cardinals. So I came back, worked for the Cardinals for a year in 2012, doing their inside sales program. So essentially it was like a year-long contract, kind of see how you do and then go from there. I got extended another 6 months. And in that time, a full-time job opened with the Blues. With the Blues, I did group sales for about 2.5 years. Got promoted into there doing premium sales for about 2.5 years, and then getting into my current role of senior manager ticket sales, where I oversee the account executives and the inside sales program with the Blues. In my time with the Blues, I got really lucky in the time that I've been there. This is season 7 for me, but I've worked for the team that's been in the playoffs every year but one. I've been a part of a Winter Classic, an All-Star game, and then obviously the most important was the Stanley Cup last summer. The Stanley Cup was such a whirlwind. It was kind of just a blur. I really don't remember sleeping much. It was just kind of go the whole summer long. Like we kept winning, kept going. I had this awesome playoff beard where I hadn't shaved from April till middle of June. So it was a lot of fun. I think the coolest part that for me was seeing the city, how it kind of rallied around the team and kind of grow in the community, and what it meant for people that work for the team, people that have been fans for a long time, and everyone that worked there as well. But I think one of the coolest experiences I got was for Game 7 in Boston. There was there's the flight that the players take, and then there was a second chartered flight that left the day of the game, which included the players' like wives and kids and some of the scouts, and then they took some of the front office members and started at the VPs and kind of worked their way down. And I was one of the last people to make that cut there. So on the day of Game 7, I flew to Boston, got to attend the game for Game 7 in Boston, which was awesome, obviously. Got to go on the ice afterwards for the game as well. And then flew back into St. Louis, landed in St. Louis probably like 4 a.m. And then there was a party starting at the Enterprise Center, and the Stanley Cup was there. So I was able to hoist the Stanley Cup. And then next thing I knew, it was like 8 a.m. and it was time to go home and go to bed. So it was like a crazy, like 24 hours or kind of like a 2.5 month ordeal but it was well worth it. I mean, I was exhausted by the end of the summer, but it was a lot of fun. It was the kind of a nightmare with tickets. I think I had people that I went to high school with, and then they, I'd asking for tickets, asking for, everybody wanted a part of, the hottest ticket in St. Louis. So it was a lot of fun. And it's kind of the team is obviously in an awesome spot now for long-term success too. So hopefully once hockey gets going here, that they can make another run at this.
Yeah, that's awesome. I mean, just talk about just amazing, just an amazing run for the organization, but just to be a part of it and working inside of it's gotta be awesome for sure.
Yeah.
Lexi, what about you?
We should have had him go last. I can't follow that. So my start is basically the same as Kyle's. I was playing softball and I came to Maryville and I didn't really know what I wanted to do. I knew I wanted to keep playing softball. And I was never into like medical or nursing, which is like what Maryville is known for, PT, any of that stuff. So I started learning about their sports biz program, which is sponsored by Rawlings, and it's pretty second to none in my opinion. It was an incredible, I was only there for 3 years, but it was a great 3 years. I think the best part was a lot of hands-on experience. A lot of our professors are actually part of other organizations like Rawlings and the Cardinals and the Blues. So I was not taught by standard professors. I was taught by people who are in the offices every day, which meant a lot of 8 a.m. classes, but it was worth it. And I remember doing an esports project for the Blues when the whole esports thing started and the NHL said, hey, every team has to have some sort of esports type of situation. The sponsorship side of the Blues came to Maryville and they were like, hey, we need to throw something together here. So one of my classes was literally crafting the esports tournament that goes on at the Enterprise Center, which was really great. But with those, networking, that's what basically sports biz is, just networking and just learning who, you vibe with and who would be a good boss and who you have same values with and all of that. And that was a great situation for me. I did a lot of great internships, working in product, working in corporate sponsorships. And then before I graduated in December, I started working in corporate sponsorship, partnership management technically is what it's called, for Learfield IMG College. And I was with SLU. So I was their coordinator and I would basically had my hand in everything, doing a lot of asset protection type situations, going to Billikens games and making sure that the signs are on the, Jumbotrons and all of the LED screens are what are contracted out. So unfortunately, when there's no sports to be played, there's no sponsorship to be had. So we're still kind of figuring that out. But it was a really great experience. And it's just like, as a former athlete, it was great to just stay in sports and just keep doing it every day. And you're never bored. Something new is always happening.
Oh yeah. What about you, Emily?
I grew up always going to Mizzou games and a lot of NASCAR and IndyCar races. So I've always loved sporting events. So I kind of always not knew, but had an interest in working in sports. And then by the time I got to high school, it was really something that I wanted to do. So I became a student worker for Irwin in the activities office. And I did that senior year. Up until like last summer, I worked a couple events when I was home for break. But then after I graduated, I went to Mizzou. And like I said, I just graduated. And then my freshman year, Irwin actually led me to another job in Mizzou athletics. So I worked in the compliance department for all 4 years with them. I was just an office worker, but I got really good experience seeing all the different things they handle. So eligibility, financial aid, just different like NCAA rules. Learned a lot in there. And then last summer, I did an internship at Worldwide Technology Raceway. We did a lot with marketing, kind of a few sponsorship things. So kind of what Lexi was talking about, a lot of signage. And then I got to work 2 different race weekends, which is really awesome. Like I said, I grew up going to those things, so it was fun to be on the other side and like work for them and really experience and see how a production like that is put on. So I loved being a part of that. I'm hoping to go back there once everything gets back up and running. So in August, hopefully I'll be back there with them. And then my capstone experience this past semester, I worked for Kelly Sports Properties, which is just a printing and press company in Columbia. But they kind of have started a couple new projects. So I did a lot of sales work for them and just got to meet a lot of people at high schools in Missouri and especially in Columbia and work with them, and sales was nothing I'd ever done before. So it was awesome to learn another thing. And I didn't love it at first, but then I started to really enjoy it. And I learned a ton of different things from that. So kind of a whole Mod Podge of things. But yeah, now I'm back home, hoping to go back to Gateway. So.
Yeah, no, just awesome experiences you guys have had. And I know it's always entertaining to me, you know, at the high school level, we're doing stuff on such a small scale compared to, you know, when you go to a college game or a minor league game, pro game, or things like that. And it's always interesting to me to just see the number of people and what goes on behind the scenes to make all those different pieces work. So, I mean, it takes huge teams to put on those things, and I can only imagine it's a pretty awesome experience to be part of that for sure. So one thing I want to do before we get out of here tonight is, you know, when I have alumni and, you know, when I'm at events and talking to parents and things like that, they always, you know, have those 1 or 2 Howell memories that they have that people always want to share with me. So I always like to get those from everybody, and we'll start off with Lexi, I guess, and just kind of tell us a little bit about maybe one of your favorite Howell memories or something that you're not going to forget from your time at Howell.
Well, hang on, I'll grab this really quick. My husband doesn't love that this is in the living room, but this is probably my favorite memory. That was my senior year. These were all seniors. We had 11 seniors, and we were the underdogs of the district tournament. We didn't win state or anything like that. We literally just won 4 games in a row, and it was amazing. And it was just that's a great memory. That's a great photo. So that's my number 1 memory. But I feel like I would have to say, like, bringing the powder to the football games was one of my favorite memories. Emily, you were always on the down low down there doing your dance thing. But no, when we finally got that powder approved, that was a big deal. We were throwing that every game, every Friday. That was so fun.
It was.
Yeah, it's definitely awesome, and it definitely still goes on. So we still got that tradition going.
Good.
So Emily, you want to go next?
Yeah, I think one of mine is winning state junior year, finally. And then also always just being able to, like, travel to, like, out of town or even nationals. Just being able to go to Disney with my best friends. That was always awesome. I'll never forget those.
Kyle?
Well, I feel like I should grab my photo I have framed.
I don't have one right here.
So I have my picture. This is the 06 baseball guys. Similar to the story there. It's the same. The 6 of us that went through, you know, freshman baseball all the way up through senior year. It's funny looking back on it. You know, you have a whole team of freshman baseball players, and by the end of it, there's 6 that, you know, made it all the, you know, stayed playing together all the way through the varsity season, which is, you know, you think of it as a freshman, like it's something you wouldn't think that at all. So same thing. That's from winning sectionals in 06. We finished 1 game shy of competing in a Final Four. Still bothers me to this day. I still don't like it.
Sorry, keep going.
You're good. Yeah, no, I think about it all the time. I get mad every time I drive by Vianney or anywhere around there. So, but I think, you know, you think about, you know, obviously this picture here, we're just celebrating, but I think just back to all the little things from, you know, going to practice every day with, you know, and you just kind of take it for granted, you know, how much fun it is, how much, you know, you're going to miss it when you're done there. Because at the time when I was there, we didn't have a baseball field on campus, and we had to drive to C&H every day. So, you know, I don't know, 15, 20 minutes from campus. And
look at this. Do you recognize
oh,
that?
Team H sign. Wow.
Okay, keep going. I keep interrupting you. That's my living room.
That's awesome. But just from who was going to be there last, or who got stuck in traffic, or just all those kind of things you take for granted, and realize how much fun it was along the way. And it was sometimes it was a pain going to practice because it was hot or whatever it may be, or the bus was hot, or it was a long trip to Columbia to play or anything like that. But I think those are the ones that stick out the most, and you miss the guys that you play with more than anything.
No, I did, and that's the one thing too that whenever I talk to people that maybe don't know a lot about Howell, or that aren't from Howell, that's the one thing that I tell people is you look at just in this situation, we have the three of you on here involved in completely different programs, and just the level of success that each of your programs have had, and I think that's one of the things that's very unique about Howell is just the level, just the work ethic, the level of dedication, and the success of our programs. And it's everybody wants to see everybody else be successful, and it doesn't matter what it is. I think just our whole entire school, our community takes pride in seeing Howell have success. And I think you guys are definitely, you guys have been a part of that. And, I think just having you guys on, and like I said, 3 separate programs, and just the level of success that you got to be a part of in your time at Howell. And I think the other thing too that's really awesome is just when we look at like the three of you and just how you continue to represent Howell beyond beyond high school and in the things that you do. And I think it's always great that just always hearing positive things about our students and student participants and even our alumni, people coming up to me and sharing things and how proud they are. So definitely appreciate the three of you and all that you've done at your time at Howell to make it better. And and also all the things that you're doing now as an alum and continuing to represent us in such a positive way. So definitely appreciate you guys being on tonight. I love doing these. For me, I'm one of those people. I didn't necessarily like being in front of the camera or have my picture taken, things like that. So over this whole COVID thing, I started this, and I know I'm not very good at it yet. Hopefully I'll get there, but this has definitely gotten me to step outside my comfort zone. And honestly, this is probably one of my favorite things to do now, just to be able to, learn a little bit more about, our current coaches and student athletes and alumni. So, and I think definitely with all the feedback that we're getting from this, I think all of our fans and our parents and our community is definitely enjoying watching these two and learning a little bit more about everybody. So I definitely wanted to thank you guys for coming on tonight, and can't thank you enough for all that you've done for Howell and for everything that you guys continue to do after Howell.
Thanks for having us.
Yeah, this was a lot of fun. If I can do anything for you three, or if there's any students or alumni that I can help, definitely send them my way. I'm more than happy to talk to them and give anything I can back. So,
ditto.
Yeah.
No, definitely. All right. Well, thank you everybody for watching at home. And as always, please subscribe to our YouTube channel, and you can watch this archived there as long as all of our other episodes. Thank you, everybody.